What Zepbound dose lost the most weight over the last 2 years of me being on Manjaro, Zepbound, and Tirzepatide compound? Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 107 pounds the last 2 years and almost 4 months, 3 months now, over 27 months of being on GLP-1 medication. And on today's episode, I want to break down my experience, strength, and hope. Never medical advice. I'll always punch it to your own healthcare provider to ask them specific medical questions because I am not medical. But from my experience, strength, and hope, what lost the most weight and how you can best glean that for your health. Now, you're going to want to stay till the end where we're going to deep dive into appetite suppression and food noise and something I wish I had known at the very beginning if you're just starting or, oh, if you've been on for over a year or 2 years like I have. Let's go ahead and dive in. So having lost over 107 pounds, the first area where I can easily look back with all of my doses going from 2.5 milligrams all the way up to the highest dose, which is Zepbound 15 milligrams, which is what I'm on right now, I lost the most weight at the first dose. Why? A couple things. One, I weighed over 300 pounds. I think starting dose does really matter. There's a substantial amount of weight to lose. For me, drop that sucker really, I dropped it like it was hot. I was like, I was Snoop Dogg, dropped it like it's hot. I dropped that weight really, really quickly at the beginning. Some people don't have that experience. And I always have to preface there's 4 different buckets. There's hyper responders, meaning people who respond very quickly to this medication. There's normal responders, 1 to 2 pounds per week, hypo responders who lose less than 1 to 2 pounds per week, and the non-responders. Now, so for hypo responders and non-responders, don't fret, my pet. Like, I've done a ton of videos on, if you're falling into those buckets, don't worry. Because hello, fellow turtles unite. I am on the turtle choo-choo train. We're going fast because you know what turtles do always win. Eventually they catch up to those hares, those rabbits. So the first dose for me is where I lost the most weight. However, for me, it has been a transformation truly of going from morbidly obese to now I walk 2 to 6 miles per day. I actively lift. I can buckle my airline belt without having issues on there. I can ride horses. I would have crushed them before. I couldn't have ridden horses because I was too heavy. And so all of these non-scale victories have led up to, a complete lifestyle change, completely. I can't look back to the woman that I was previously being morbidly obese. And now I'm just shy of hitting the BMI of quote a healthy weight. I'm like almost there. And this last 20 pounds or so to get to that point has been slower. It's taken a little bit longer than I would have hoped it would be. Considering at the beginning with my first dose that I had lost so much weight so quickly. But for me, I walked into the medication when I took my first Zepbound 2.5 milligram shot. I walked in because I had come off of a binge. And so my body was puffy, honey. I was puffy like the Pillsbury Doughboy. And I had just a lot of garbage in my body. So for me, it lent itself the first week and even into the second week that there was going to be a bigger weight loss to lose on it. And so now with that, tip number 1 is for me, it was the first dose. That may not be the case for you. It may take, it's a loading dose is the first one. It may take a few doses to get into your groove with that. And that is where relying with your healthcare provider is really, really important to talk to them. Maybe right now you're having a lot of side effects. You're having diarrhea, you're having or constipation or nausea or vomiting, 4 most common ones. And so talking with your healthcare provider about that, so they're not increasing you on a higher dose of where you're losing really, really quickly as a result, right? Because if you're having blowout diarrhea, does that really make sense for you to increase dose? No. In my non-medical opinion, I'm not a doctor. I've not been to medical school, but in my non-medical opinion, why would one titrate up if you just are expelling so much with diarrhea? So having that conversation with your doctor is super important. Number 2, for me in the last 2 years, this has been a long journey. And I feel like I said, I feel like I'm slower than other people in terms of weight loss. Because in my first year, I really had to focus in on food and like, what does full feel like? What does putting my fork down feel like? What does hungry feel like? Okay, hungry is actually a normal thing. My body's supposed to feel hunger. I'm not going to suppress down with my Zepbound injection to never feel hunger again. I went through a pocket of that of like, oh, if I could just not be hungry. not really how our bodies were designed to be. We're supposed to, and now I do welcome hunger and I do welcome feeling full. I welcome those feelings because that's the way my body's supposed to feel. And with having a GLP-1 deficiency and being obese, because obese is a disease, and learning about it as a disease, and then learning about hormones, them hormones, honey, it reminds me of fried green tomatoes. Then hormones, honey. No, yeah, that was fried green tomatoes. Um, with that, you see, yeah, I know I get sidetracked. Squirrel! With that, super, super important then of how that's going to correlate to my weight loss journey. So first year, focusing on food. Second year for me has really been the year of getting physical activity nailed down. Being able to ride horses again. Can I ride horses every day? No. I wish I could. I wish I could. You'll know that I won the lottery if I'm riding horses every day. But walking every day is sustainable for me. Lifting also super important for me to help with that muscle mass loss. And really, really getting in tune with what that looks like as well, of being able to lift, being able to walk. What does that mean? What does that feel like? What does that look like? How do I do that? That has taken also a year to figure out as well. And then along that journey of working out, the recovery component of it, I am obsessed with LMNT electrolytes. It has made such a big difference for me with my Zepbound side effects, and now with lifting and now with walking, it has been huge for me. And so if you are on a lifting journey like I am, or if you're just starting your Zepbound journey or Tirzepatide compound journey, for me, I started LMNT electrolytes day one. Like literally that I bought them over 2 years ago, and I bought them LMNT electrolytes because I knew it would help with my side effects: diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. There's sodium in there, so they're gonna taste salty. That's what they do taste. If it's too salty, you just add more water, customize it for yourself. But it has sodium, magnesium, potassium. Super helpful for leg cramps, super helpful for me for constipation with the magnesium, super helpful for diarrhea. If I'm expelling all this stuff out, having something to replace my electrolytes with. I now continue 2 years later to take LMNT electrolytes because of the lifting factor. It's really, really helpful with weight training. And also, honestly, it helps with my appetite suppression. Not that it's changing the dynamics of my Zepbound appetite, because it's not, but when I'm sipping on I do a third of a stick in a glass carafe, and I do a third, a third, a third. So I do a third of it with a 40-ounce tumbler of water. I love it. And then I do that thrice, 3 times throughout the day, and then just sip on that. That motion for me has replaced mindlessly eating. And so I encourage people to find replacements, not complete like eliminations. So not eliminating instead of doing a substitute instead. This has been an awesome substitute. Now, LMNT's been super, super kind. We have 8 free sticks with any purchase. They do also have cans. The cans are exceptional. I love a nice cold can, particularly now that we're entering into spring and summer with hot mints. Having these in the refrigerator, oh my gosh, they're so good. My little boy this weekend specifically requested for he's playing flag football, he's like, I need some LMNT electrolytes. My legs are starting to hurt. Right after he took it, he's like, my legs feel great. You can get 8 free sticks with any purchase at drinklmnt.com/queen, QUEEN, linked also down in the description link below. I'll link all of my information on today's video. But that recovery from focusing in on my physical, like I had no idea what my body really and truly felt like when I first started this journey over 2 years ago. And so now that I know that what my body is truly feeling, like getting used to feeling full, getting used to feeling hungry, getting used to, oh, that's what happens when I feel like I have diarrhea. That's what happens when I feel like I'm constipated. Okay, that's what happens when I have leg cramps. That's what happens when I have Zepbound fatigue. All of those things have really, really helped me get in tune with my body, which is helpful for what is the best dose on Zepbound and being able to stay in tune with my continuous weight loss journey. Number 4 of what's the best dose for Zepbound weight loss is being in a calorie deficit for weight loss. With my background, and I know many of y'all can relate to this, my background did not come from a very healthy perspective with food. And so learning how to shift that literally with a therapist has been very, very beneficial for me. And realizing I have to be, it's literally a mathematical equation. I have to be in a calorie deficit for me to lose weight. And so that for me goes in then into with what Zepbound helps give me, which is appetite suppression, and then also the food chatter and the food noise. For me, and if you can relate to this, tell me in the comments below, that food noise, that food chatter, that brain thoughts of how many hours a day I spent thinking about meals, thinking about food, thinking about being obese, thinking about people are looking at me because I'm obese, and all the tailwind that comes with it. And then to have that where it's like radio silence in my brain. What is going on up in there? Like it's quiet. So then what do I replace it with now that I don't have that squirrel cage going? Then what do I put in? Because again, it's not elimination, it's substitutions in there. And so for me, that's been really fun. That's been really fun. What does one put in the brain and in the mindset? Hence the reason why I do a daily show is because our brains, I do believe, we need like a shower, we need a daily cleansing, we need a brain daily cleansing too. And so that food noise, that food chatter being gone, that has been key that Zepbound has given me. And the other key is appetite suppression. Now I am on the highest dose. I'm not on the lower dose. If we go back to our dosing schedule here, I'm not on the lowest dose. And so your experience is probably, it's going to be different because obesity is such a wide spectrum. Our experiences with GLP-1 medication are not cookie cutter. If someone tells you they're cookie cutter, run. They don't know what they're talking about because they're not. They're going to be different. And so with the varying doses with Zepbound on there, my appetite suppression has very much changed as I've gone through. When I was on Zepbound 7.5 milligrams and Zepbound 10 milligrams, I honestly thought it was going to feel like I felt the first time I took Zepbound 2.5 milligrams, which was an immediate halt. It was like a punch in the face of like, boom, I'm full. I thought I was going to have that on Zepbound 7.5 milligrams and Zepbound 10 milligrams. I wish I didn't have that expectation with my appetite suppression, and I want to share this with you, is that every dose that I've taken, I've felt differently. I've thought that I was going to, like, I never thought I would have diarrhea, not diarrhea, because I had that, nausea or vomiting. I ended up having it on the highest dose, Zepbound 15 milligrams. And so I want to encourage you, I wish I had known, and I wish someone had told me to not have expectations with Zepbound with the dose changes. When I titrated up, the appetite suppression with each dose was not the same. It's been very different for each one. And I've heard this in my free encouragement group, and I'll link that down on the description link below, of where people are like, it's not working. Y'all, I felt that too sometimes. It's that our bodies are really, really smart and they're adapting. They're adapting. And that's why I'm on the highest dose right now. And my body's adapted to it. It's not that it's not working, because people are like, you've been on that dose for a while now. And I'm like, yeah, I need a higher dose. It's all that that means is I need a higher dose. And I would fare much better if there was like a Zepbound 17.5 milligrams or a Zepbound 20 milligrams, but that's not the case yet with technology. When CagriSema comes out, which will come out probably in early 2026, somewhere that I don't know when it's going to, the end of 2025, early 2026, somewhere, it's in the future. It's in the next year, God willing. God willing. Stay tuned. Click that like and subscribe so I'll make sure I do a breaking news story on it. And so my appetite suppression expectations with different doses have not at all been what I expected. I have been chasing and wanting to go back to that original Zepbound 2.5 milligram dose feeling, and I haven't had that. And some of y'all watching are like, I would never want to go back to Zepbound 2.5 milligrams because you had no appetite suppression, and now you do, right? And this is where the key distinctions pop in with our bodies are different, and we're going to have different not expectations, different experiences with this. That's why I love my free group, because we have thousands of really cool, smart people who are fun, who share their experience, strength, and hope in a loving, kind, gracious way and in a protected community that's free also, of where we can talk about this. But so with the appetite suppression and going back to the original overarching theme of what is the best Zepbound dose to lose the most weight after 2 years is the one that works for you. And then also for me, recognizing things I can change, things I can change and things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can't change that Zepbound doesn't have a Zepbound 17.5 milligram dose for me yet. I can't change that. And I'm not going to go on the compound just yet, because I'm going to go on CagriSema as soon as it comes out, God willing. It's kind of my plan. So you guys know, you can, and I don't want to make that many changes. So holding on to like that, so that piece. Things I can change, things I can't, the wisdom to know the difference. I can change what I'm eating. I can change my activity level. I really can change those. I used to think I was powerless over those, and I'm not. I do have the ability to walk. Elizabeth, I need to go outside and walk. I need to go outside and walk. I was talking in another video, so make sure you click that like and subscribe to go see some of the other videos about my lunches. Now, this is not the best example. It's like a bouge plate. I mean, like I don't normally eat with orchid flowers on my food, but nonetheless, it was when I was traveling and it's the same representation of it. I have a volume-based meal for lunch. For me, that change has been so helpful recently, and I've had to really switch things up because I'm like 20 pounds away from my goal weight. If you take off loose skin and muscle and all that, I'm almost there. I'm almost there, super close. This volume-based meal plan, and I got the idea from Michaela, I'm going to butcher her last name, Naguaria. She's the amazing makeup artist on TikTok. Young little thing from Boston who goes, Kim Kardashian, that one. She cracks me up. Anyways, she showed her lunch one day of like celery and carrots and cucumbers and fruit and berries and anyways, hard-boiled egg. I have started doing that, and that's like it's jump-started me. So making these modifications, trying new things, changing things has been so helpful. But the one thing that has remained consistent for me week in, week out, week in, week in, week in is my LMNT electrolytes since day one. Now over 100 plus injections. It's like over 110 plus injections. Every single week I've always had LMNT electrolytes. And the reasons why I continue to take LMNT electrolytes have shifted and changed, but it's made a big difference for me on my Zepbound weight loss journey. Somebody was asking me recently with the weather changing into spring and summer, if that's gonna change my consumption. Probably. I always have the day before, the day of, the day after my LMNT electrolytes. And now that it's getting hotter outside, I'll probably have them every single day just because I'm gonna be sweating more. And it gets really hot in Virginia. And I'm much more physical. Get physical, physical. I know you didn't come here for your daily karaoke, but I'm sure gonna give it to you. So being more physical, that's really made a big difference. So for you, I wanna know, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? What are you gonna do? The hormone's gonna be hormoning. What are you going to be doing that you can control to help aid you on your Zepbound weight loss journey? Is that going to be walking today? Is that going to be working out? Maybe it's sleeping? Maybe it's someone in our group had this comment and I loved it. I loved it. They said, I'm actually not going to be doing anything more. I'm actually taking things off of my plate. And I love that. The elimination of things of when you know too much is too much. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Which, by the way, this is where I went. I am not sponsored by them, although I wish I was. The ranch where I rode the horses at. Amazing, exceptional. It was like auberge. If you've ever been to auberge, it's like auberge service for family. Anyways, I digress. Going back to things I can control. And I can control what I'm putting in my mouth, hence the volume-based lunch. I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it like a crudité platter. It really is volume-based lunch. I am so full after that. I'm like, whew. And that keeps me going. I had that, it's 3 o'clock as I'm filming this. I had that over 3 hours ago. I'm still trucking along. I had with mine a little bit of hummus, a little bit of cheese. I wish I had a hard-boiled egg, but I didn't have time to make one. So I got to do that for my meal prep tomorrow, and my meal prep that I've got carved out to do that. I'm going to do that. I like having some hard-boiled eggs in the fridge. My kid likes those too. Good protein. But I will have another protein shake here as well before dinner. And then that really helps put me back in the driver's seat. So when I feel like I'm having a weight stall, switching it up a little bit. And weight stalls are normal too, by the way. I've shared this in other videos. And so if you're having this, and because you're asking like, what's the best dose? I'm having issues, or I feel like it's not working. For me, I've had where it's been like weight stall, weight stall, weight stall, weight stall, whoosh. Weight stall, weight stall, weight stall, whoosh. And so and people are like, what's a whoosh? It's simply you going down the slide. Whoosh. No, I'm making that up, but it's where there's like a drop in weight of where it's like 2, 3, a little bit more, 2, 3, 4 pounds in that weigh in. And that for me has been the journey over the last 2+ years of going along that cadence and rhythm. Now I've lost 1 pound this week of using this volume-based eating. And I know this week it's going to be more than that. I can feel it. Like I can just feel it. My body is reacting. I feel healthy. I feel good. And that's always my barometer of like, how am I feeling? Do I feel strong? Do I feel energetic? Is my skin looking clear? You know what I mean? Like am I sleeping well? Going back to some of those things. But the best Zepbound dose is the one that's working. It's the one that's truly working. You need to have that conversation with your healthcare provider. If you don't have a healthcare provider you like, mine is down in the description link below. And for sure, if you are not moving, I want to encourage you to find some movement you enjoy, because that is within your control. and finding foods you love and enjoy that is within your control that fit into a calorie deficit. I've been on this quest. I feel like Galileo, looking for foods I enjoy that are within my calorie deficit, that I really like. And so what do you have that you really like? That has been huge for me. Huge, huge, huge. I love you guys so super much. I want to make sure you're also taking advantage of that LMNT electrolyte discount. You can go down into the description link below to drinkelement.com/queen, QUEEN, to get your 8 free sticks with any purchase. My favorite is orange. The Duke's favorite is watermelon. I was a ride or die raspberry gal, and now I'm really like ride or die orange. It's so good. It has a chokehold on me. Like, I love it so much. I have one of my thirds left, my last 40-ounce tumbler of it, and I'm like, after this, and I'm like, I can't wait to go. I'm gonna go chug it. I'm just gonna chug the whole thing. It's been a good day. Good day. I love you guys, my sweet friends. And our emoji of the day is going to be cheers. I do emojis of the day to help me to get to know you better because I truly do care, and that pattern recognition of seeing your name pop up over and over and over every day helps me to get to know you better. So our emoji of the day is going to be cheers, one of those like beverage clink, 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 because we're clinking our LMNT electrolytes in the can format or in the stick format, and it helps me to get to know you better. I will also pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I will uplift you in positive thoughts. And if you're looking for my calorie calculator, it's on countessofshopping.com. All things, if you have not been to countessofshopping.com, it's all things GLP-1 related. The Count now runs that site for me, which is exciting. Give us a few more weeks. It's still getting some tweaks ironed out, but my honey is working hard. I think he maybe got a gray hair from it, maybe. My hot husband. Sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I love you guys so super much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Click that like button. Make sure you share with your GLP-1 bestie, and I love you. Have a great day. Bye.